you probably get missing, you go to the wrong bus stop, you have to start using Google Maps. You keep applying for jobs and the jobs were not just coming. You're going to be having classes, you're going to be having tests, you're going to be having assignments that you have to like put in work. As for me, I knew it was going to be cold, but I didn't know the extent. Because hello guys, welcome back again to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time here, you're welcome. My name is Gbemi Olatunji and I make videos about my profession, which is biomedical science and other health related professions. I also make videos about lifestyle and I currently live in United Kingdom. I'm Nigerian, but I'm a Nigerian living in the UK basically. Yeah, so guys, I recently moved here about 2 months ago, barely 2 months, and I would say that on arrival here I kind of faced one or two like realities that I really didn't see coming. I feel like personally I wasn't really informed about them, and you know, I came here and then I saw something else. The purpose of this video is to talk about those harsh realities that you're going to face as a student. Like if you move to the United Kingdom as a student in 2023, or maybe like next year, I don't know if things are going to change, but as at now, if you're actually moving to the UK as a student, these are some harsh realities you're going to face. You might face, it's not 100%, but then there's a chance that you might face these harsh realities. Okay, so yeah, disclaimer, I am not making this video to say do not come to the UK. This is not don't come to the UK. If you want to come to the UK as a student, by all means, if you have the opportunity and that's what you want, by all means. I wouldn't say that you shouldn't come. I don't regret coming as a student, but this video is just to like kind of enlighten you or just inform you about some of the not so rosy side of coming as a student. And basically, not just as a student, some things are even relative to even other people, but I'm just saying because from my own perspective, because I am a student. Okay, and just basically the so you can prepare if you need to prepare, make any preparations, financial preparations, emotional preparations you might need to prepare, you know, before you come. Okay, now that that's out of the way, without further ado, let's get into the video. Gotta be something different. As the number one on my list is accommodation. Now I put it number one on my list because you're going to start realizing even when you're in Nigeria, because I mean most times you would want to like get a place before you come, or at least you would try. Many people might not get an accommodation, but at least you would try. So now there are some apps that you can use to search for accommodation. We have Rightmove, we have Open Rent, we have Zoopla, we have Share Room. Yeah. So I downloaded these apps as when I was still in Nigeria, searching for accommodations, which I didn't even get my accommodation from there because there's so many like requirements. So most of the houses, I feel like, because when you see an accommodation that you're probably interested in, you check for enquiries and you check for the requirements. Most of these houses, literally, you're going to see there that they don't want students. I'm like, why? So I got to realize that the reason most of the time they don't want students is because they don't want a situation where you won't be able to pay your rent. So as a student, you're probably not going to be working, or even if you're working, like it might just be like a part-time job and it might not be enough for your rent. I don't know, but I just realized that a couple of times there were a couple of like accommodations that they wrote students, no students. Okay, then there are some that don't mind students, so even as a student you can apply, but then they might require like things like they'll say they want a UK based guarantor that has a house, that has an annual salary of so you won't just bring a guarantor, not just anybody. They want someone who has a house, who has probably bought a house. They want the person to bring the person's bank statement. So it's like a lot of things that needs to be put in place before you like get your accommodation, which is quite stressful. Then apart from that, okay, fine, like let's say you have all those things and then you apply. You're now going to apply for viewing. They call it viewing. You know how you just go and see the house now. how we do it here in Nigeria. The agent will just take you to the house. This one, you apply for the viewing. Sometimes they will not approve your viewing. Like, you won't get past that stage. You won't be able to actually view. They will tell you, unfortunately, you did not reach our requirements and stuff like that. So when you now go for viewing, then from there I think you can now proceed. Now, why this is quite harsh or hard is because you're probably checking for this while you're still in Nigeria. So you're not even physically there, and you're probably not able to physically go and view by yourself, right? So if you don't have anybody that is already in, like, where the city you're planning to move to, you probably won't be able to go for viewing. Does that make sense? So, but then of course it's possible you get your accommodation eventually. Like me, I also got an accommodation before I actually moved, but then, like I said, I didn't get them from these apps. I got them from someone. Like, I kind of knew someone, I met someone. You meet people through people, social networking, and the person was staying, the person linked me and stuff like that. So eventually I actually got an accommodation before I came in, but it was kind of hard, and I feel like I got the accommodation because I like searched and searched and searched, and I was talking to like different people. The second harsh reality is the weather. I know a lot of us, we say, oh, it's so cold here, it's so cold here, but as for me, I knew it was going to be cold, but I didn't know the extent, because I have never experienced something like this before. So coming and seeing like the weather that I saw, man, like, it was so cold. I didn't understand how the weather is, like, room temperature is that cold. Like, I didn't understand it. It got so bad, like, the first few weeks when I arrived, I don't step out of my house. Like, if I don't have class or anything like serious that I need to be outside, I don't step out, because inside we have heaters, so inside you feel warmer, and then you can like put your duvet, blankets and everything, plus the heater pretty much have heaters. So how in Nigeria we have ACs, here we have heaters, right? So because the heater made it like warmer, I was too comfortable inside. I actually used to dread going out, except I had class or something. So we might not talk about the loss, but like, I want you, if you're actually planning to come, to know that the weather is going to be like, because you're coming from a place like Nigeria where you have temperature of like the room temperature is about 37 degrees, I think. Here sometimes it gets to minus, guess it's 1, 2, 3, 4 degree, -4, -3 degrees. So that's like a lot. It's so bad that when we cook here, sometimes you don't even need to put your food inside the fridge, because the weather is like, the room temperature is like fridge temperature, if you get what I mean. So the second thing is definitely the weather. The third thing, now we're getting into like real issues, because I feel like those are the first two things I mentioned. You can easily walk through them. But this third thing on my list now is the fact that you're actually coming to school. So we kind of make it look like, oh well, I'm relocating. That's how we always say it. Like, I'm relocating to UK, I'm relocating to Canada, I'm relocating to US, I'm relocating to Australia, wherever it is you're relocating to, right? But then you're not just relocating, especially if you're coming as a student. You're going to school. And then, like, school normally on its own is even a stressful thing. Then having to school outside your comfort zone, outside where you're used to, is another thing. So you have you're dealing with schoolwork, you're going to be having classes, you're going to be having tests, you're going to be having assignments that you have to like put in work, you have to study, you have to make researches. So like, I feel like we don't talk about it a lot. We make it look like, okay, I'm just relocating, as if what we're coming here for is not serious work. Like, it's really serious work. I got an assignment like barely 1 week after I came here. I think I came here on a Saturday, and as at Monday, Sunday, I already heard that we already had an assignment. So I logged on and I checked the assignment, and I didn't even know like what format am I supposed to use to answer the assignment. How am I supposed to present it? Am I supposed to present it like a report? Am I supposed to present it like an essay? Like, I was clueless when I saw it's not like the question wasn't like, it was kind of familiar, because it was a case study question, and I have like work experience. It was something I knew the answer, but then how do I answer it? What kind of format do I use? Now they required a 2000 word with Harvard style referencing. You're going to be aware of plagiarism. You don't want to do plagiarism because it's punishable. So it's like all those things. I was so confused as to how to start, how do I keep going, what do I do, what do I not do. Then, like, apart from that, you're going to be studying so much, you're going to put in the work, really. Like, your school aspect is going to take a lot of work from you. Then that is now aside, okay? We are now going to be taught by lecturers who, you know, your first few months or first few weeks here, for me it kind of took a while for me to like kind of adapt to the accent, to be honest, because I mean I'm Nigerian, we don't talk like the way they talk, so I wasn't used to the accent. Now having to be in a lecture where someone is kind of speaking an accent that you have to like listen keenly was kind of hard for me. At least my first week of lecture I kind of had that problem, but then eventually like the accents now I understand them, like I understand my lecturers so well, like it's not a problem. But like my first week or 2 weeks, like I kind of had that problem where I kind of struggled to understand their accents. The first thing I'll be talking about is job. So everybody like says it's like, oh, and then you start working and start earning in pounds and all of that. That was the mindset I had. So I thought I was going to come this week and by next week I'm already working. And you know, sometimes some people even go as far as saying that, oh, your visa starts like a month before school resumes, so you can go, and then when you go you can work for 1 month without the because you know there's this thing called the work hour limit, which is 20 hours per week when school is on session. But when there's no school is not on session, you can work like full time. So they're like, oh, you can come for that first week and work without your hour limit and make so much money. So when I came, I had the mindset that all I just needed to do was just to apply one for like probably 5 jobs and I'll get like 3, and that's it, I'll start working. First month passed, there was no job. Like it was so hard. Like you keep applying for jobs and the jobs were not just coming. So yeah, some people are lucky that, yeah, of course I know that there might be some people who got a job like immediately, but averagely it will take you about a month before you actually get a job. Some people even have spent like more than a month before getting a job. Why I said averagely, because of course like I've been able to like I have friends around, and you know most of us are Nigerians and we're all like in the same shoes, we're looking for jobs. So there are still people who haven't worked in 2 months yet, they've not gotten an employment. So it's not automatic that you come, once you come you're coming to resume a job, regardless of how it is. You have to go through the application process. Most of the time you have to go for an interview, you have to, some require you to submit references. Like it's actually a long process and it's not like as direct as you might think. So that was one thing that I didn't see coming, honestly. So that's like, and it's very important, like the jobs, you will get a job of course, but you might not just get it as you were thinking that once I come I'll start working. Nope, it might not work like that. Okay, the final reality I'm going to be talking about in this video is the fact that you're literally starting your life over. So a lot of you might be working already, like when you were in Nigeria you had like your customers, you know, you already had your life basically, like you had your friends, you knew your way around, like you could easily, like if you want to go to market, you know where to go, you know you were basically comfortable. At least a lot of people were kind of like comfortable. Most people were working, they already had a good job, you know, and all of that. And having to, like, you already have your church that you attend, you already like have maybe even extracurricular activities, you're probably going to one gym, you have a favorite restaurant, you have a customer, maybe the person that makes your hair, you have your stylist, you have all those things. You are basically like kind of settled. Trust me, it's a lot to actually leave everything and then come and start life again, especially like if you're coming as a student. So you're now coming from where you kind of had like abundance, like you had so much money, or at least you were comfortable now, and then you're coming to a place where you're starting again. So you have to make friends again, you have to join a new church, you have to like know your favorite maybe supermarket. You have to learn how to move around because you don't know. You have to start using Google Maps. Like, I was not one person who ever knew how to use Google Maps, but when I came here, I had to learn it by force. So you have to start using Google Maps. So many a times you're going to get missing. Your first few months, your first few weeks, you probably get missing. You go to the wrong bus stop, you go to the wrong this. Like, you will have to like learn everything. Even up until now, sometimes like it happens scarcely, but then I can still possibly get missing. So you get missing on the way. You have to use your Google Maps. Sometimes some people, like, they don't even have they don't have they couldn't they get missing and can't find their way. They have to like pay for a taxi that will just drop them at their house, which is like going to be so expensive. You change your number, you change your address. It's a lot of things that is actually changing. And you know, it comes with some psychology. Like, it's not that hard, to be honest, but then I didn't really think about it that okay, I'm actually going to start life again. Yeah. And sometimes I just think about how much, like, you know, how comfortable I was, what I had. You know, I wasn't thinking about stuff like searching for a job, you know. So just basically starting life over could have a bit of like, it could not, it's possible that it might not be that easy. You might have it easy, you might not have it easy, but then when you're aware that okay, yeah, I'm bound to face stuff like this. One bonus harsh reality is that you're going to feel like you spend so much money on buying African food. So my own advice is that you don't just convert the money. Like, don't convert, because food here is quite kind of cheap if you're buying it from their stores, like British stores. But then there are some things you will never find in British stores, like your palm oil, your gari, okra, rodo, red pepper, as not the bell pepper, the other red pepper, rodo, I don't know the English name. I think it's Scotch bonnet, yeah. So there are some things that you only find in African store. And to be honest, those things are expensive because they bring it all the way from Nigeria or whatever, like Africa, they import them. So they are quite pricey. So you can buy crayfish of like 2.99 pounds of one small crayfish. The crayfish I bought, I can remember. You buy beans of like 7 pounds, something like not that much. So if you're converting it, you'll be like, this is 7,000 naira. Like, of course, like if you're in Nigeria, you buy them like for more, like way cheaper than it is. So it's kind of harsh. Like, it's like adapting to the fact that you're spending so much to buy common pepper or common palm oil or common gari that you can just buy 250 naira. You're coming here and you're buying it for like £5. That's like almost 5,000 naira. So the advice I can give on that particular one is that you don't just convert your money to naira anymore, because if you're converting it to naira, you'll be sad. So don't convert it to naira anymore. But then the good part of it is that there are some things you don't need to buy in the African store, like your rice, onions, tomatoes, you know, and they are quite really cheap, you know, in their like main store. So you can buy tomato, like a basket of tomato for like of onion for like 85 pence, less than a pound. So I feel like that makes it a bit easy to like, so the fact that you're getting the things you can buy in the British stores like really cheap, you can augment it to that one. I've basically talked about the 5 things I had to share about the harsh realities of moving to the United Kingdom as a student. Some of them are general, whether you move as a student, as a dependent, or as like you move as a skilled worker, whatever it is, you might actually experience some of these. And this is, like I said, this is not to discourage you, this is not to say don't come. Please, if you want to come, if you're processing it, come, right? You come, you face these things and you move on. So it's just that phase. I feel like it's just the first initial phase that could be rocky, but then eventually you find your way, you find a step, and every day you just keep getting like stronger and stronger. But it's also good for you to be like aware of the fact that these things are here. You probably experience these things, and then when you're aware, you can prepare, and then you would be fine. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you recently moved, or you've also like moved from, you know, your country, you've moved abroad, I would also like to know if you faced like these harsh realities, or maybe there are others that you faced, that I didn't talk about, and you can share them in the comment section. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you click the subscribe button to join my family if you've not subscribed already. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.